Hey, what's up guys, Ultimate Gaming here, and with the new MCU Spider-Man movie, Spider-Man Homecoming, coming out July 5th of 2017, also comes merchandise, and with that merchandise also comes reviews, you guys. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Spider-Man Homecoming 3 3/4 inch scale Spider-Man vs. Vulture 2-pack, and it's a Marvel Legends series. So this is from the new movie, as I just said, and you can see which figures it comes with, and luckily it also comes with the wings, so you don't have to build it, Hasbro. It's a little message. Don't want to fucking build wings. I want a figure, dude. So, anyways, on the top left here, we see Marvel Spider-Man Homecoming, which has yet to release, so we don't have any spoilers yet or don't know anything about the film. Up here, we have a nice image of Spider-Man in what I believe looks like he's midair swinging. Right here on this side, we have Spider-Man swinging with his web. On this other side, we have the exact same picture. Down here it says Marvel's Vulture and Spider-Man and his Tony Stark suit, I believe it's called. Down here, Hasbro, ages 4 and up. I almost said 14, my bad. So, Marvel Legends series. We have a nice picture of the prototype of Spider-Man and Vulture. So, and we also have a bio there, which you can go ahead and read. You can pause it there. Also, closing it up there so you can read better. Alright, we also did see this Shocker vs. Spider-Man pack at Target, but we decided to get this one since this one's also new, but this one's probably going to be more rare since from the new movie, and this one will probably be restocked more often than the Spider-Man Homecoming ones will. Warning, small parts not for children under 3 years, which doesn't look like there's any small parts unless you can take the wings apart, but I doubt that. Hasbro.com/Marvel, Marvel.com. So let's get this figure opened up, and I'll give you my opinion. We'll check out the details, paint apps, articulation, etc. I'll see you all in a while. Don't go anywhere yet. Alright, you guys, so here we have the two figures out of their packaging. And I have to admit, while I was playing around with these figures, I did feel like I liked Vulture the most of this 2-pack rather than Spider-Man. Because, sadly, my Spider-Man, the plastic seems to kind of chip off at some parts, and he does have paint defects. Although Vulture does have a few paint defects that I did catch, his articulation is pretty much better and kind of fits him more than Spider-Man's. And I am kind of disappointed at the limited articulation that both figures have. But I'll talk about that later on in the review. Anyways, first let's take a look at Spider-Man, because this is kind of the figure that I really don't mind that much. But Vulture is really the reason I wanted to get this the most. But I mean, it's nice to have a new Spider-Man figure as well from the new movie, since, you know, now that I'm older, I won't miss out on the figures like I did back in Spider-Man 3 and Spider-Man 2. Anyways, so as you can see, Spider-Man's eyes here. I don't know if they did 3 3/4 figures for Civil War, and if they did, and they made a Spider-Man one, if they did make a Spider-Man one from the Civil War figures, and they did a 3 3/4 one, this probably is a retool. But if they didn't, then this is probably a completely new sculpt, but I'm not sure because I didn't really collect the Civil War figures. I liked the movie a little bit, though I didn't collect the figures as much. So anyways, looking at the first, if I can get my light up closer here. Turn my lights very quickly just so you guys can see these, what I'm about to talk about. So for one, on the armpit joint, there is in fact a paint defect. There's blue on the red joint, but since you really aren't going to see that joint there, it's not a big deal, but it's right here at the bicep. I don't know if you can see it. This damn camera doesn't focus, so it's probably going to be hard to see, and I keep kicking it. It's so blurry. I don't know why. But I don't know if you can kind of see it there. I think that might be I believe it is a paint defect. and it's kind of hard to see from close up, but you can see it right here, right there. It's a paint defect there, and then on the back of the head here, you can see it kind of looks like a dog chewed on the back of his head. And no, Hershey hasn't gotten anywhere near this figure. I just opened it, and I've kept him on the review table this whole time. Same at the back here of his foot, near the heel. Also looks like that as well. So, yeah, a little disappointing there. And so far, that's all the paint defects I've caught as of now. Haven't seen any others, but yeah, plastic on this Spider-Man isn't the best. So now the articulation of Spider-Man. His head can look up this far. So if you have Vulture like hanging above him on like a fishing string on your display or something, you can have him like he's looking up and he has like his web shooters like that. And so he looks straight. He can look down this far. So it looks like he like dropped a stain or like spilled soda on his suit, and he's just like looking down like, ah, shit, dude. So that his head rotates 360 degrees as well. His arms go out this far. His elbow joint can only go in this much. Can't go back. Same on this side. He does not have double jointed elbows, sadly, and he has no wrist articulation. I'm gonna call this ab articulation right here. I don't know what it's called. Upper body articulation, whatever. So it does go back this far. This from the side. This far forward, so you could get like an ab crunch a little bit, but it's not like the type that Marvel Legends figures have. His legs can kind of go out in a split, not really though. He got this far, enough to get like the ankle pivot in motion as well. So the leg kicks out this far, which is actually really cool because then you can get him like kicking Vulture in the face, which is nice. Or you can also get him to just sit down, like if you have like a rooftop custom diorama, you can have him sitting there as well, watching over the city, whatnot. So he has double jointed knees, which I am glad that he has, but yeah, he has double jointed knees, so it's pretty cool. You can also get him like he's jumping off a rooftop or something, but so web slinging across the city as well. So feet articulation, or feet articulation. So feet go down this far. If I can straighten his legs out so you can see how far that is. They go down this far, straight, and then up like this. So again, climb on a building. Feet rotate 300. Wait, can they rotate? Yeah, it's pretty weird rotation, but yeah, they can. I don't think they can do it while they're yeah, they can do it while they're straight. You would have to like put the foot down and then rotate it like that. So still rotates though. And then he, as I mentioned before, he has an ankle pivot that can go this far in and this far out. So yeah, Spider-Man broke his feet. And that's pretty much all the articulation on this Spider-Man. Again, pretty disappointing that he does not have wrist articulation, because, I mean, this isn't very pleasing, honestly. It's just awkward not having wrist articulation on the figure. After we've gotten wrist articulation and double jointed elbows before. Here's a comparison quickly. Just a black suited Spider-Man figure. I forgot when this figure came out, but he has his feet can't really go down that much, sadly. So that is a little advantage that this Spider-Man has. But he's got double jointed knees. He has double jointed elbows, I believe. Does he? Oh no, he doesn't. He doesn't have double jointed elbows. Okay, then never mind. But he does have wrist articulation though. So yeah, that's an advantage this figure has. Also, the head articulation isn't the best either. Besides that, this figure has some good stuff to it. So now taking a look at the figure I've been hyped up for the most, because I've never had a Vulture figure. Never. And I'm not joking when I say never. which is why I'm looking forward to getting all the Vulture figures that come out this year, including the Walmart exclusive 2-pack, which I have been keeping a keen eye out for. So this Vulture figure, one thing I don't like about it is the helmet. Now you might be saying, oh, the helmet looks pretty cool. It does. It looks like a airplane pilot helmet or a jet pilot helmet, and that's cool. But the detail, the paint app on the helmet, is not accurate to how it was in the trailer for Spider-Man Homecoming. When we see him in this, the helmet is black, I believe. I believe it's a black helmet, but I would have to double check that, and once I do, I'll probably edit like subtitles on the video correcting me or whatever. So yeah, it's kind of bothers me a little bit because I do like figures being like as movie accurate as they can be, and I'm surprised Hasbro fucked this. Well, I'm not really surprised Hasbro fucked this up because they fucked up more things in the past. Jurassic World toy line. Anyways, sorry about that. Anyways, kind of brightening up the detail there. The wings, they do peg it on the back. There are 2 pegs there that plug into his back, and they don't go in all the way, but they are pretty hard to take out, as you just saw. So these pegs, he's got 2 big holes right there in the back, which kind of does bother me as well. But I get bothered by the littlest things, so don't mind that. So this is a dark gray paint and a little bit of green on it. Same on this side, but this side has kind of more green by like a little bit. They also didn't miss the propellers. They didn't add the propellers, which again, another disappointment with this figure. If I had $1 for every time oh my god, Hershey. If I had $1 for every time I said disappointment in this video, I'd probably have $5, maybe. I would have to keep count. Anyways, I'm kind of disappointed at the paint job here because this could have been a silver like how he has here. He's got a nice silver paint right here. Sorry about that. Hershey decided to be super loud at like the worst possible timing. Anyways, as I was saying, he does have a nice silver paint here, and then it just turns to bland gray paint right here at the bottom of his feet, or sorry, the lower legs. It turns into a solid, just plain gray, and then on the wings here, it is just a solid dark gray. So I would have liked if like everything was like silver painting. It would have made it more realistic. I guess if you are a customizer, you could customize that to be silver paint, but I'm not a customizer myself, so it's kind of something I have to deal with up until I learn how to start making my own customs. So anyways, the wings do have a small joint, but one problem is they don't kind of flap. They are plastic, but it is possible that you could break it if you try doing that. But if you move one wing, it does go down, so it folds down, and if you do stop motions like me, you can have it like the wings shoot out, or if you want, this can also be like your little wing action. But it's up to the people who display their figures like me. So I like the curve here on the wings. It looks really nice and kind of realistic, actually. Looking at the articulation on this figure, his head goes up. Oh, his head pops up too. So I guess you could kit bash as well. So his head looks up that far. I guess it's decent if you had the wings on. But it's not as far as Spider-Man, which I would have liked. I would have liked if that could happen. But it's decent for if you put him in a flying pose like this. And you have just Spider-Man shooting his webs. So it is pretty decent. He does not look down that... Well, he doesn't look down at all, actually. Well, actually, yeah, he kind of does a little bit. This is his straight head, up head, and down. So yeah, he kind of does look down. So his head rotates 360 degrees here, like that. His arms go up this far, so you could kind of get him like a helicopter vulture. Anyways, his arms go down as well. They also rotate 360 degrees, which I also forgot to mention on Spider-Man. His arms do rotate like that as well, on both sides. Same with Vulture here. Unless you have his wings on, then that is kind of limited. If you have his wings on, then it only goes back this far. So I guess if you have like Spider-Man on his back, you can have him grab him, just body slam him. But yeah, it depends how creative you are with your figures, then yeah, you can get a lot of playability out of them. So if you're creative like me and my siblings, I'm not saying we're like super creative, like we're the most creative people in the world. Just saying like if you're creative with your figures and you like playing with them a lot, then yeah, you can get a lot of playability out of them. So his legs, like Spider-Man, don't get that far into a split, but they do go a decent way. Legs go back not at all, but they do go forward as well. You can also have him sitting down, just doesn't look as good as it does with Spider-Man, as you can see. Spider-Man's legs, as I forgot to mention, can go back a little bit. That. Anyways, back to Vulture. He does have double jointed knees as well, which I think is very nice. Like so. Like that. And then for his ankle articulation, it can go down like this, so you could get him like hanging upside down of the plane or something. If you want to do it like how it is in the movie, well, from what we see in the trailers when it's Spider-Man versus Vulture on the plane. And then you can also have him like this, like he's climbing behind Spider-Man on the side of a building. Feet can also go straight, obviously, and he does have an ankle pivot which goes out this far. It's pretty weird, honestly. He can't stand, so he also broke his feet, and they also go in this far as well. Which I guess if you want to like pose him in a way, you could have him like with ankle pivot, kind of like this. There's like an example of how you could pose him with the ankle pivot, but besides that, besides some poses like that, there's really no other way you can kind of pose him with the ankle pivot. So again, no wrist articulation, sadly, no double jointed elbows, sadly, and I also do have a problem with how wide they made his this figure. He looks too wide, and in a way, it kind of does make him look chubby. And from what we see, he isn't really chubby. He's actually thin, from what we see in the trailers, though. He does not have any waist articulation either. And there are some paint defects here on the collar. Some of the paint from the little fur on his jacket does go on the collar as well. On the back, we have like a whole metal back piece. And you've got these straps that he has as well on his belt. You know, his utility belt, which hopefully he uses more than Batman. Hashtag DC roast. Don't get mad at me that I roasted Batman. Alright, I like Batman too, but I just like roasting him. Alright, just don't get mad at me though. So these figures are cool. If you don't own a Vulture figure like myself, if you don't have a single one except for this one, I do recommend you pick up this figure. Although I am gonna warn you now. You will be a little disappointed in the Spider-Man figure, as how I am. But the Vulture figure, you might actually like it if you've never owned a Vulture figure, so you've never experienced how to pose a Vulture figure before. And these figures I would recommend, but probably for me, it would be only for the Vulture figure. So, now, with enough talking, we're going to get to the comparison of Spider-Man, because I don't have a Vulture figure, so I can't compare any Vulture figures with him. But let's do a comparison on every Spider-Man figure I have, that I own, and that's not including, like, big Spider-Man, so let's get on with the comparison time. Here we have the Spider-Man Homecoming Tom Holland figure next to the Spider-Man, I believe, Part 3 or 2, Tobey Maguire figure with webs shooting action. Here we have a bike riding Spider-Man. I forgot which Spider-Man this is, but I'm just going to call it bike riding Spider-Man because he kind of does have the hands for it. So, yeah, bike riding Spider-Man next to the 3 3/4 Spider-Man Homecoming Spider-Man figure. Here we have the 3 3/4 Spider-Man Tom Holland figure from Spider-Man Homecoming next to the Spider-Man 3 black suited Spider-Man figure, which I believe had a web shooting action as well, because he kind of does have that, or it's just from a little diorama set he came with. So, again, here's the comparison, in case that was too fast for you. Here we have the Spider-Man Homecoming Tom Holland Spider-Man next to the Marvel Universe black suit Spider-Man. Here we have Tom Holland Spider-Man next to the unmasked Tobey Maguire Spider-Man figure from Spider-Man 1. Here we have Spider-Man Homecoming's Tom Holland Spider-Man next to the wingsuit Spider-Man figure, which is about 8 or 9 inches tall. Explains a lot right here. Here we have Tom Holland Spider-Man next to the pizza-eating Spidey Marvel Legends figure. Here we have the Tom Holland Spider-Man next to Venom from Spider-Man 3. Here we have the 3 3/4 Tom Holland Spider-Man next to a few 2-inch Spider-Man figures, one of them being Venom as well. Venom and Spider-Man, this one right here at the end, and Venom are from the Spider-Man 3 construction set. And this Spider-Man, I kind of forgot where he was from, sadly. So that is all for comparisons, you guys. Alright, you guys, so now for our overall rating. And if you're wondering about what I mean by our, this is my brother's 2-pack, so yeah, we're kind of sharing this, I guess. But it's mostly his. And his overall rating, his rating for Vulture would be at 9.5 out of 10. And his rating for Spider-Man is a 5 out of 10, and I'll explain why. But his overall rating for the entire 2-pack itself, for both figures in total, he gives it an 8 out of 10. So that's his opinion. And my opinion, Vulture is definitely a 9 out of 10 as well. And Spider-Man is a 6 out of 10 average for me. Because, I mean, it is a new Spider-Man figure. I will give it a chance. But his joints are too rubbery, maybe. And possibly will end up like my Marvel Legends Juggernaut Build-A-Figure Wave Deadpool figure, which his joint did break because of how rubbery it was and how soft plastic it was. Sorry about that. My whole family was passing by the living room, and the dark room is right next to the living room. Anyways, so my overall rating for this pack, a 9 out of 10. And that's mainly, that rating mainly comes from the Vulture. Again, my first Vulture and so far my favorite, but I have yet to review the Marvel Legends one, which I have not found yet in stores, because as of when I'm recording this, it is April 30th, and it comes out May 1st, which is Monday. So hopefully I can find these figures next weekend, and possibly give you guys a review for the whole Marvel Legends wave, and I'll try and review the Build-A-Wing as well. So that's our overall rating, and the reason why Adrian gives it a 5 out of 10 is because he, like me, he's disappointed in the limited articulation in the upper body, and again the soft plastic joints, or the rubberiness, and how easily it could break. So it is worrisome if you do play with your toys. I'd be very cautious with Spider-Man's elbow joint and his leg joints, because as you can see, they bend easily and they can easily break. And that did happen in my Deadpool. As I said, my Juggernaut Build-A-Figure Wave Marvel Legends Deadpool, it did break. Sadly, I'm just going to have to wait till the Deadpool line comes out to get that new Deadpool figure. The new Marvel Legends Deadpool line, I mean. And another reason why Adrian doesn't like it is because the wrist articulation, again, also part of the limited upper body articulation that I was talking about. And, I mean, it would be nice to have articulation in the wrist, because you could get a little bit of nice, I guess, playability or display opportunities if he had wrist articulation. Also, you don't have to worry about bending the entire arm like this, so you get a punching position. Instead, you can, like, fold it or bend it up, tilt it a little bit, and then rotate the hand to be straight, and don't have to do this. So yeah. I would kind of only recommend this 2-pack only for the Vulture. And knowing Hasbro and how they just love their money, they probably wouldn't make the Vulture a solo 3 3/4 figure, but they probably will do a shit ton of Spider-Man variants, if anything. And if you're gonna get this pack, I do have to warn you, it is pretty costly for just 2 small figures. If you're wondering how much the pack cost, it was actually $20 at our local Target. So, in a way, it is kind of high priced, but that's Hasbro for you, overpricing their damn figures. So, honestly, Again, I would only recommend this figure for the Vulture. The Vulture itself is really cool. Spider-Man, meh. Again, I gave it an average. Would you recommend this pack? Yeah? For both figures or just one?
Just for the head of Spider-Man.
Yeah, Adrian recommends this pack just for like the head of the Spider-Man, because I guess you could kit bash this another Spider-Man if you wanted to. Yeah, that's the only reason he recommends this, and mainly because of the Vulture, right? Yeah. So we both like the Vulture the most instead of Spider-Man, sadly. And I'm not surprised that I'm disappointed in Spider-Man, because it's not the first time Hasbro has fucked up my one of my favorite like characters or movies, Jurassic World. So that's our overall rating, recommendation, and review. Oh, there's another thing that you just pointed out to me. I know it's a 3 3/4 figure, so I wouldn't really expect this, but butterfly joints would have probably also been likable on this. I hope the Marvel Legends Spider-Man does have butterfly joints. I do really like those, and it's more better to pose them, because the pizza-eating Spider-Man, dude, that butterfly joint is so useful. And if you don't know what butterfly joint is, I'll show you right now. It's this little joint right here next to the shoulder articulation, and it can go back like that and forward. So you could also get some more punching action there. And then as well, you can also get like Spider-Man's web slinging as well. This is also useful for figures like Wolverine if you want to get him in like a X with his claws and whatnot. So yeah, again, like there's small things that are missing that really disappoint a lot, whether it's paint apps or limited articulation. It's a decent figure, the Spider-Man, but the Vulture is really good besides the helmet, which is, again, not movie accurate or trailer accurate, should I say. So that's our overall rating and our recommendation on this figure and our review. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, do not forget to hit that thumbs up. I appreciate that a lot. Comment down below letting me know if you're planning on getting any Homecoming figure toys. Make a list down below letting me know which figures you plan on getting, and if you will pick this figure up. Also let me know in the comments. Do not forget to subscribe for more reviews on not only Spider-Man, but X-Men, Jurassic World, if anything, and much more coming soon in the future, you guys. I also have a surprise planned out for you, which is still going to be in the works for a few more weeks, possibly. And I did accidentally reveal what it was, but you do not know how it looks yet. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I will see you all in the next one. Goodbye.